This is Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything cloud gaming related, and today we have some Stadia news to cover. And today it's all about the games, be it new games, free games, or more games. All of this news is going to be coming from the latest This Week on Stadia blog post that really does an excellent job of highlighting so many new titles hitting the Stadia platform. But before we take a look at all the new games, let's give away one for free. If you want a chance to win a copy of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for Google Stadia, all I ask is that you leave in the comment section below what your favorite Star Wars movie is. I'll even allow you to post your favorite Star Wars TV shows, since I know plenty of you out there are probably watching The Mandalorian. The winner will be randomly selected, and I will reply to their comment here and give them a quick shout out in Friday's video. But now let's get into the news itself, and let's talk about the new releases that are happening this week. And first up is one of the most highly anticipated releases of this entire generation. I'm talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Now, by the time most of you are watching this video, you probably already have the game in your hands, but I think it's worth bringing up because it's such a major release for Stadia. It's one game that I think most of us in the community are seriously looking forward to play, and the current promotion for a free Premier Edition with a pre-order or purchase is a big deal. It's definitely got people considering the Stadia version of the game, and I know there are many people who are signing up to Stadia just to experience this title with all the hype surrounding it. And as a heads up, I will be covering the game both on GeForce Now and Google Stadia. I'll be covering both versions individually and then one video comparing both of them together. Either way, that's enough about Cyberpunk. I don't think you all need another breakdown of what the game is after I've covered it a few times already. For now, let's move on to the next game that's just been released, and we're talking about Spongebob Squarepants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. This is a remake of a cult classic title from way back in the day that I happen to play myself. The game's a classic 3D platformer that's sure to give you a bit of nostalgia from the Xbox, PS2, and GameCube era. I do actually remember playing this game as a kid, and while it wasn't my favorite title, it definitely did create some lasting memories. Now thankfully, this remake actually seems to be extremely well done. It's easy to see that they put a lot of care and time into the visuals and making this look up to par for this generation. But best of all, it still has that traditional gameplay that many miss. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, you may want to check this one out. Like I said, it's pretty much a blast from the past, but a pretty good one at that. Next up, let's take a look at Destroy All Humans. This is another remake of a cult classic hit, and a very good remake at that. It's another case of great visual upgrades combined with faithful gameplay that stays true to the original release. It's a title that's full of humor and satire elements throughout the whole game, but I will note that it is a little bit dated. With that said, it's still very much so a very enjoyable experience, and depending on your humor type, you may have a huge grin on your face throughout the game. You'll get to enjoy using Crypto's vast arsenal of weaponry, as well as using all his psychokinesis abilities to send enemies flying about. It's also worth noting that they did update some of the control systems to bring them up to modern day, and these are all very positive changes that make the gameplay experience much smoother. If you're the type of player who enjoys causing mayhem in open-world sandbox games, I would argue that this game may be right up your alley. But now let's switch gears and take a look at some brand new indie games that have just come out. And the first one is titled Unto the End. You'll have to pit your skills as a warrior against a deadly path through the mountains. It's a single-player fantasy adventure game that's really focused on its melee combat, and it's up to you to master that combat through improvisation and observation with who you go up against. If you're into tough fighting challenges, then this game is absolutely for you. The combat is all about reading how your opponent attacks and reacting accordingly. It's not about spamming a button as fast as you can, it's much more methodical and slow. Most of all, it's a title that really focuses on player skill. So if you're up for the challenge, be sure to give this game a go. Personally speaking, I'll probably be checking it out sometime after I've had enough time with Cyberpunk 2077. Now we're taking a look at Figment, a musical-filled journey into your imagination. This is an action-adventure title where you're gonna explore a unique, surreal universe filled with music. It features a strong narrative with humor aspects as well. Now to me, the thing that stands out most about this game is its very unique hand-drawn art style. It looks beautiful and very creative in a lot of ways. Additionally, the game has a ton of fans and a lot of people think it's a fantastic experience. I can't speak for it myself as I haven't played it yet. It's a title that's also won multiple awards, not just for its visuals, but musical score and narrative as well. But before we move on, I should note that this game was originally supposed to be a Stadia Pro title sometime in November. For whatever reason, it seems like it was pushed back and currently is not a Stadia Pro title. That said, I wouldn't be too surprised if it ends up being one sometime soon. To be clear, that is just my assumption by the way. I'm not sure if it's going to be a Stadia Pro title or not, but it is worth remembering that it was at one point supposed to be. Now the last two titles we're going to cover in today's video are Watch Dogs 1 and Watch Dogs 2. We've known for quite some time that these titles were headed on their way to Stadia, but they are now officially out and available for purchase. If any of you picked up Watch Dogs Legion, just know that these two titles are pretty different in their own way. They're still open world sandbox games, very much so in the GTA-like sense, but they all handled hacking quite differently. In my opinion, the original Watch Dogs does feel quite dated at this point in time, but Watch Dogs 2 is a game that I actually prefer over Watch Dogs Legion. I think the open world design was just more thought out, there were more buildings you could enter, and honestly I preferred the main character and storyline of the game overall. It also refined the controls much more over the first one, which I still think has some of the worst vehicle handling of all time. But that's just my take on it. It is worth noting that these titles will also be a part of Ubisoft Plus, which is supposed to launch sometime this month. So if you've been holding out for that subscription to be available, well, the wait shouldn't be too much longer. Either way, that's all the news I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out. And if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Today's end of video question is going to be a simple one. What games do you plan on buying this week? I know many of us are picking up Cyberpunk 2077, but Stadia really just dropped a huge amount of games out of nowhere, so are you going to be picking up anything alongside it? If so, let me know what the game is down in the comments section below. I look forward to reading your answers. As for myself, I got my work cut out for me on covering both the GeForce Now and Stadia version of Cyberpunk 2077, but I really do want to play unto the end. As always, thank you for watching the video. This has been Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything cloud gaming related. The Gen S community is over 6,200 strong and growing by the day, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.